This isn't just typical Love Island drama or petty social media beef. This is psychological warfare disguised as friendship, and the receipts I have will absolutely blow your mind. When Ace Green sat down for that podcast interview and decided to question Nicolandria's authenticity, claiming Nic confessed there's no romantic connection between them, that wasn't honesty. That was a calculated strike designed to inflict maximum damage at the perfect moment. And Taylor Williams admitting he never felt physically attracted to Nicolandria while staying coupled with her? That's not transparency. That's manipulation finally being exposed. Hit that subscribe button faster than Ace can delete his controversial comments, because we're about to dive deep into the most toxic betrayal in Love Island history. The foundation of this betrayal was laid months ago in the villa, but it's only now reaching its ugly climax. Let me take you back to where this psychological warfare actually began, because understanding their original plan reveals everything about their current desperation. Remember when Ace and Taylor first attempted to publicly embarrass Alandria? They had orchestrated what they thought would be the perfect humiliation ritual. Ace dropping strategic hints about wanting certain people to stay, Taylor executing his switching routine with surgical precision. Everything choreographed to make Alandria look foolish in front of millions of viewers. They spent time rehearsing their performance, completely convinced they were about to pull off the most flawless blindside in Love Island history. But then something unexpected happened that destroyed their entire master plan. Nic stepped up, protected Alandria, and their carefully crafted humiliation crumbled faster than a house of cards. Instead of Alandria walking out defeated, she emerged stronger and more respected. That single moment broke something fundamental inside both Ace and Taylor. They didn't just lose a strategic battle that day, they lost control of the narrative they thought they were writing. They went from puppet masters to irrelevant side characters in someone else's love story. And their egos have never recovered from that psychological wound. Fast forward to August 2025, and we're watching the aftermath of that villa failure play out in the most toxic way possible. Ace's recent podcast appearance wasn't some spontaneous moment of honesty. This was round 2 of the exact same manipulative game plan that backfired spectacularly the first time. Let's break down exactly what happened during that interview, because the timing and method reveal everything about his true motives. Ace didn't accidentally blurt out information about Nic and Alandria's relationship. He deliberately sat down with cameras rolling, knowing his words would be dissected across every social media platform. He claimed Nic told him there's no romantic spark with Alandria, that their connection isn't genuine, that Nic was only with her because he had no other options. But here's what's really sick about this calculated attack. The timing wasn't random chance. This happened right when Alandria was experiencing some of her biggest career wins, when Nic and Alandria was gaining even more fan support. That's not friendship speaking through concern. That's strategic character assassination disguised as truth-telling. When someone times their supposed honesty to inflict maximum public embarrassment, you have to question whether it's really about truth or just revenge wrapped in the language of authenticity. Smash that subscribe button if you believe friends should protect each other, not exploit private conversations for content. Now, let's examine Taylor's role in this coordinated attack, because his confession reveals the depths of their shared hypocrisy. During multiple interviews after leaving the villa, Taylor admitted something absolutely damning. He confessed that he was never physically attracted to Alandria, but stayed coupled with her anyway. Think about the psychological manipulation involved here. Taylor made a conscious choice to let Olandria invest emotionally while knowing he felt nothing. He let her believe something genuine was building between them while planning his exit strategy. That's not being influenced by producers or villa pressure. That's active deception designed for personal strategic benefit. But here's where it gets really twisted. Ace was right there watching this entire charade unfold. We have footage of Ace coaching Taylor on how to manipulate the coupling situation to his advantage. They worked together to waste Alandria's time and emotional energy. Yet now this same man wants to lecture people about authenticity and genuine relationships. The hypocrisy is absolutely staggering. Ace helped orchestrate the deception, then months later uses that same deception as ammunition to question other people's authenticity. He was complicit in manipulating Olandria's feelings, then acts shocked when he doesn't receive unwavering loyalty in return. If Taylor's convenient story about producer influence is true, why didn't he tell Alandria the truth in real time? We saw other islanders say they weren't interested without hesitation, but Taylor chose to play along with what he now claims was manipulation. He made an active decision to deceive someone for his own benefit, and Ace was his willing accomplice. Here's what's really eating them alive from the inside. Look at where everyone stands right now in their post-villa lives. Alandria has magazine features, brand partnerships, and a devoted fan base that would go to war for her. She's transcended the show itself, becoming bigger than their petty villa politics ever imagined possible. Meanwhile, the only time Ace trends on social media is when he's creating unnecessary drama. Taylor's most memorable post-villa moment is admitting he wasted Olandria's time. They're literally parasites feeding off her success because they cannot generate their own relevance without her name attached to their content. Think about the psychology operating here. These men watch the woman they underestimated not only survive their attempt to break her down, but actually thrive beyond anything they've achieved. Every brand deal she signs, every magazine cover featuring her success, serves as a constant reminder of their spectacular failure to dim her light. So what do they do with that built-up resentment? They keep trying the same tired tactics that failed miserably the first time. This podcast situation is just another desperate attempt to recreate the power they felt they lost when their original plan backfired. Let's talk about what this situation reveals about damaged masculinity, because we're watching two grown men who simply could not handle being outshined by a woman they initially dismissed. Their response has been systematic character assassination through public platforms. That's not masculine energy. That's insecurity and emotional immaturity on full display. Real masculine energy would celebrate her success, protect her reputation, and find ways to elevate themselves without diminishing others. Instead, we're seeing grown men throw public tantrums because a woman they tried to embarrass became more successful than they ever imagined. The contrast with Nic's behavior is absolutely instructive. He's consistently shown what genuine partnership looks like, what it means to be secure enough that your partner's success feels like a shared victory rather than a personal threat. While Ace and Taylor have made careers out of attacking Olandria, Nic has protected and celebrated her. In today's world where reputation can make or break opportunities, that kind of consistent protection is rare and valuable. When Ace stood on that podcast platform, his choice to add ammunition against someone he claimed to care about revealed everything about his true character. What we're witnessing is textbook revenge psychology in action. When someone's ego gets wounded publicly in front of millions, the desire to restore their sense of power can become absolutely consuming. Ace and Taylor experienced a very public failure when their plan to humiliate Olandria backfired, and that ego injury created a psychological wound they simply cannot heal from naturally. Instead of using the experience for personal growth, instead of examining why their plan failed and what that revealed about their character, they remained stuck in that moment, desperately trying to recreate the control they lost. But revenge rarely satisfies the way people think it will. Each attempt to tear Alandria down only highlights their own inability to move forward. Quick subscribe reminder, because my notification bell is lonelier than Taylor after realizing his villa strategy was trash. The fan response to this situation has been absolutely telling about audience intelligence. When Ace's podcast comments dropped, the backlash wasn't random mob mentality. It was collective recognition of manipulation being broadcast in real time. Fans understand that if you genuinely want to address issues with friends, you handle it privately first. Social media gave fans the platform to say what many were thinking. This isn't about truth or friendship. This is about damaged egos and calculated cruelty designed for maximum impact. The immediate criticism of Ace's timing, motives, and methods show that audiences aren't just passively consuming drama without analysis. They're examining motivations, calling out inconsistencies, and holding reality stars accountable for their actions. That level of sophistication puts pressure on personalities to be more thoughtful about their public statements, because blind support from fan bases is no longer guaranteed. The response from Nicolandria themselves was perfect in its maturity. Instead of engaging in messy public back and forth that would generate more drama, they responded with grace and united strength. They let their genuine relationship speak for itself without needing to defend or explain every aspect to critics. That's emotional maturity and relationship security that simply cannot be faked. It stands in sharp contrast to the chaos and negativity their former villa mates continue creating for attention and temporary relevance. Let's zoom out and discuss the bigger picture, because this represents something more significant than typical reality TV drama. Nicolandria is a Black woman who entered that villa knowing she would face additional scrutiny and challenges that other contestants might never encounter. She successfully navigated online harassment, constant questioning of her authenticity, and relentless speculation about every aspect of her relationships. Instead of her former friends working to ease that burden, they've deliberately chosen to add to it with calculated public attacks. Instead of using their platforms to uplift someone facing unique challenges, they've weaponized their influence to tear her down. That's not just personally disappointing, it's culturally harmful on a broader level. When Black women are fighting for respect in spaces not originally designed to include them, the last thing they need is sabotage from people who should be allies. The fans defending Nicolandria understand this dynamic perfectly. They're not just supporting a cute couple. They're supporting the principle that Black women deserve loyalty, protection, and celebration without constant questioning. They're rejecting the narrative that suggests a Black woman's success is automatically suspicious or less legitimate. At its core, this situation comes down to what real friendship looks like in practice. Is it supporting someone's success even when it surpasses your own achievements? Is it protecting their reputation instead of exploiting vulnerabilities for personal gain? Is it addressing conflicts privately before airing them publicly for entertainment? Real friends don't weaponize private conversations for public content. Real friends don't time their concerns for maximum damage. Real friends don't build their relevance on the foundation of someone else's pain. What Ace and Taylor have demonstrated isn't friendship at all. It's transactional relationships masquerading as loyalty, ego protection disguised as honesty. They've revealed that their connection to Alandria was always conditional on her staying in what they considered her proper place. When she exceeded those limitations, when she achieved success they couldn't control, their true colors emerged. Before we wrap up, let's talk about virtual signaling because Ace provided a masterclass in this manipulative technique. For most of that podcast interview, he fed his audience exactly what they wanted to hear. He talked about his integrity, his success, his position as a young black man making moves in entertainment. He painted himself as the righteous truth teller, brave enough to expose fake relationships. But then, his carefully constructed mask began slipping. Suddenly, he looked less like a moral authority and more like someone having an elaborate ego tantrum because his toy got taken away. The virtue signaling worked as intended, though. Half his audience was applauding his earlier points, while missing how contradictory and petty his actual grievances were. That's the dangerous thing about effective manipulation. It makes people feel good about supporting someone without encouraging them to examine whether actions match words. So where does this leave everyone? For Ace and Taylor, this controversy has revealed something about their character that cannot be unseen. They've shown that their friendship was conditional, their loyalty performative, and their integrity negotiable when egos are involved. That has real consequences in an industry where relationships and reputation matter. Other reality stars, potential collaborators, and brands take note when someone demonstrates they're willing to throw friends under the bus for temporary relevance. Trust, once broken this publicly, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. For Alandria and Nic, this situation has only strengthened their position. They've handled coordinated attacks with genuine grace, let their relationship speak through actions rather than words, and shown what it looks like to rise above drama instead of wallowing in it. What we've learned is that in a world where everyone's fighting for attention, where viral moments often come from tearing others down, there's something revolutionary about choosing to build instead of destroy. There's real power in protecting instead of exposing, in celebrating instead of sabotaging success. Alandria's story isn't just about reality TV drama. It's about what happens when someone refuses to be diminished by people who never deserved access to their light in the first place. It's about choosing partners and friends who see your success as their success, your wins as their wins. If you believe in supporting content that analyzes the psychology behind headlines and stands up for people who deserve better, smash that subscribe button and join a community that values truth and accountability over cheap entertainment. We have the power to reject manufactured drama and celebrate authentic connections. We can hold people accountable for actions, not just carefully crafted words. At the end of the day, we all deserve friends who stand beside us when the world tries to tear us down, not friends who hand the world weapons to do it more effectively. The receipts have been examined, the truth has been told, and now it's up to us to decide what we do with that information. Choose wisely, because loyalty like what Olandria deserved is rare, and people who betray it reveal exactly who they really are underneath their public personas.